Hi, everybody. I'm really excited to be here with you guys today. I'm just going to get this set up on my other computer so I can make sure everything's working correctly. And then we'll go ahead and get started because I had to. Okay. Yep. So we're live on Facebook. It is Friday. I'm so excited to be here. I have an amazing guest today. And then I'm going to interview you. Before I start though, let me give you a little bit of history of how this started out. I thought it would be really cool to start doing these interviews, especially on Fridays because of Freedom Friday, with different entrepreneurs who have really been very successful in the industry that they work in and have a lot of passion for what they do. And I thought that they could share some nuggets that would not only help me in the long run with my career and what I'm trying to pursue, but and in life in general, but also help you guys. And so that's what this unconventional way thing is all about. So you can join me every Friday around noon Eastern Standard Time to hear, just some tips from different entrepreneurs. Maybe they're in the industry you're working in. They might be in another industry and be able to give you some tips on how you can, apply principles in one place in the industry that you're in. So that's what this is all about. And I'm going to go ahead and introduce our guest for today. I have Christopher Arienti with us today, and he is an amazing realtor. He is awesome in the real estate profession. He is a former public school administrator. He was the Rookie of the Year agent. He currently sits on the board of directors for Greater Boston Association of Realtors. He's accomplished so much in his real estate career. It's really unbelievable. And we met on LinkedIn, and he's just such an amazing person. He has an amazing spirit. He has two beautiful kids. He owns and operates a sales team. He sells about 50 houses a year, you guys. That's unbelievable. And not only that, but he's also an amazing real estate trainer and teacher. So I'm really excited to have you here today, Chris. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for that wonderful introduction. Yeah, made me sound, I think, better than I actually am, but thank you.
No, you are when we first talked on the phone, I was so excited just to be able to get to know you because you have such an amazing personality and you're so open. And so thank you so much for doing this. I think a lot of people are going to get value out of some of the things that you share today.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity. I was honored to be asked. So you're more than welcome, and thank you for having me.
So what attracted you to the real estate profession? Like, how did you end up here?
I kind of ended up in real estate by chance to a degree. As you had talked about in my introduction so eloquently, I was a public school administrator for about 14 years. I was in special education. And the further up the ladder I got in that profession, the further away from why I got into it happened. I got into it because I love the kids. I got into it because I love the families and helping at that level. And as I moved up and up and up to district level administration, I was no longer dealing with the families. I wasn't dealing with the kids. I wasn't part of that realm. I was dealing with other administrators, which was great, but I was dealing with attorneys. I was dealing with a lot of bureaucracy, and I wasn't very happy in my current role. So my wife had said to me, generally, you're a nice guy, but not so much lately. You need to figure out what you're doing if you're going to continue to do this because you don't seem very happy. So I kind of did a little soul searching, talked with some folks, and a friend of mine who was selling real estate said, hey, have you ever considered real estate? And I kind of said, really, what? And she said, real estate. And I said, geez, I've never in my life even thought about getting into real estate. And she said, well, you have kind of some of the, similar skill sets that you need to be successful. I think you should start doing it. So I started doing it part-time. I enjoyed it. And I enjoyed it because it gave me a sense of the same reason I get in education. I could work with people. I could help them purchase the single greatest thing they're ever going to buy. You became their confidant, their teacher, their mentor in a way. They looked at you for protection, they looked at you for security, they looked at you to care. So those same skills that I used in education that I feel probably helped me be successful there, I thought maybe this would work. And people thought I was crazy. I got into real estate in 2010 when the market had completely crashed. And they were like, you're nuts. What do you get into an industry that's at the bottom for? But I thought, well, that was irrelevant to me. I didn't know any better. And, I figured if I could get trained well, as education being the key, then maybe I could help some folks, do some good things. So that's kind of how I ended up in real estate. As I got better at it, I was able to let go of education completely and then pursue, kind of my passion in this way. So that's kind of how I ended up here.
That's amazing. I knew a little bit about your background, but I don't think I knew that full story. And I just really commend you on doing that because I think sometimes we go along the way and we feel so stuck in what we're already doing. And
no question.
Yeah, and we can get stuck in living like this unfulfilled life. So I really commend you for stepping out and going after something that you're passionate about and really helping people. And I can tell anytime that we talk how passionate you are about what you do.
Well, thank you. And the interesting piece too is I didn't realize I had a passion for it. So sometimes it takes taking a little bit of a risk to discover another passion you might have. I was able to kind of bridge the two pieces. My passion is education, is teaching, and is helping in that sense. And real estate, honestly, is not a whole lot different. You're working with people to help them purchase the single greatest thing they'll ever buy, and they're depending on you to guide them. And so it kind of gives you a sense of that. And what was nice is the further up the ladder I got in real estate, when I became a managing partner here at my firm, that then allowed me to teach agents. And so I was able to kind of get back to my roots a little bit with that. So you're 100% correct in what you just said.
That's awesome. I'm so happy that it's crazy because you don't ever realize where life will take you. You might start doing one thing and have a plan and totally get derailed and go the other direction. That's awesome. So what are some key things do you think have helped you along the way to achieve such success in your real estate career?
I had a great support network. I can tell you that it started with that. I have a wonderful family and friends who were supportive of the idea, who encouraged me to do it, who said, don't be afraid to try it, give it a shot. And you need that when you're starting a new venture. You need that in any form of business that you're about to start, as I'm sure you also know, because you've been quite successful in business as well. So you need that to initially start. Now, from there, the best piece of advice I ever got was from a colleague of mine who now currently works still in real estate. And she had said to me very clearly, Chris, you're going to have a lot of people vying for your services. That's the way it works in real estate. They're going to be coming after you to sign with them, and this is why, and talking about their brokerage and everything else. She said, chase the training, not the money. Because if you chase the training and you're well trained, you'll have the confidence to go out there to help others, and the money will come. And that was the single greatest piece of advice that I was ever given. And I use that now often when I'm meeting with and hiring new agents and training and coaching the agents I have. And it is so important to get trained at a very high level. That educational piece in this field is of utmost importance because there are so many places you can get derailed, so many legal, landmines and pitfalls that you could fall prey to. And you can avoid a lot of that and have a successful career and do it for the right reasons if you have that training, education, your background. And that to me is everything. And that's honestly why I ended up at Keller Williams, because first and foremost, it's an educational company that just happens to sell real estate. And Gary Keller says that a lot, but it's actually true.
That's awesome. I think that's really great advice. What you were talking about kind of brought up another question that I have. So I know we kind of talked about the questions beforehand, but would you mind if I kind of went a little off?
No, go ahead. Off script all you want.
So you had said at the beginning people thought you were crazy for leaving, right?
Yes.
And so that you had like a really good foundational support network with your family and some of your really close friends. So how did you handle when you decided to make this transition and you had a lot of like naysayers and people who didn't really agree with what you're doing? How did you handle that and overcome it?
It's a great question. And I'll be honest with you, the first 3 months of real estate, I spent staring at a computer screen in tears, thinking, oh my God, what did I do? How am I gonna make this work? And I was scouring the internet for a job of any kind, back in education, UPS, it didn't matter. I mean, I just wanted to be employed somewhere because my mindset was so stuck on you work 9 to 5, you have your vacations, that's what you do. The whole idea of being entrepreneurial and starting something on your own and kind of having that independence and being financially independent, if you will, to a degree, was foreign to me. It was never something I even anticipated getting into. So I overcame a lot of what you just said. Well, first of all, I didn't have a lot of naysayers, which was good. I had a lot of people who questioned it and said, why that field? Your background is in education and in physical fitness. I was a personal trainer for a while. And they said, why don't you stick with what you know? That was about the level of the naysay. So I did have that really wonderful support foundation around me. But the biggest obstacle to my success was not anyone around me. It was me. It was me. I had to recognize and believe in myself that I could do this. I had to recognize and say, you can make this happen. If you want to, you really can. So it really came down to me believing in me and then kind of going forward and going after it. And the one thing I learned more than anything else And what I went back to a lot of these people who questioned it when I originally got into it, I said to them, you got to go get it because no one's going to hand it to you. And that's something that I learned when I got into business as opposed to education, and having that kind of trajectory with your career almost set for you when you get an education. It's kind of like that. Here, it's a little bit more of an open book, and I had to kind of run with it and go after it. But that was a wonderful lesson I learned. And it's something I teach my children, and I teach my agents here, is to go after it and not, I don't say not listen to the naysayers, because I don't think that's accurate either. You want to listen to what they're saying because it can be A, motivating, and B, sometimes what they're saying is accurate and real. So if you pay attention to it and you say, okay, hold on, that's actually a very good point. What can I do to counter that? How am I going to overcome that obstacle? Well, do I need to get trained in a different area? Do I need to surround myself with different people? Do I need to work for a different company? Do I need to get different training? You can listen to that in the critics and say, how am I going to use that to fuel what I need to do and get to where I need to go? So that's kind of how I did it.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And the reason why I asked you that question is because a lot of times I think people see how successful someone is and they just think that they got there overnight, and that, maybe it was just easy for them. And they have a hard time putting themselves in that position and seeing that success for themselves. And
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Go ahead.
One other piece I would add to it is a lot of folks get into business, they get into real estate, and they want and expect immediate success. You also need to give yourself time and have patience with yourself to develop. It wasn't built in a day. It really wasn't. It takes time to build a business, whether you're selling X, Y, or Z, or you're working with this service or that service. It takes time. And a lot of real estate professionals will burn out of the profession within the first 2 to 3 years because they don't give themselves that time and they don't allow themselves to develop. So that's another piece to keep in mind.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And that kind of led into the next question that I had, but I think it's just so important because you're right. A lot of people expect immediate results, and when they don't get the results that they're seeking, they give up. And really, and they're worth more than that because they can achieve, anything that they believe that they can. If you just jumped on live, please feel free to ask some questions. I have another computer where I have my screen open. We'd love to help you in any way we can and answer those questions for you. So I have some that I'm going to ask, but if you come up with something that you'd like to ask, we'd love to hear from you as well. So you kind of answered this a little bit, but what other obstacles did you have to overcome to get to where you are today?
Really establishing a plan. A lot of people get into business lack vision, lack goals, and lack a plan. And goals and vision kind of produce a plan, if you will. So what I had to learn in those first couple months, and sometimes the hard way, is when you're not meeting with success right away, as you had said, do you give up or do you continue? Well, again, great piece of advice I got was develop a business plan. And it doesn't have to be elaborate. Just have some goals, write them down, set them, and shoot for them. And set them high. Don't be afraid of large goals, because if you have large goals, chances are, even if you don't hit the goal, you're going to get much closer to it than you would have if you set a smaller goal. So that kind of mindset really was what helped me continue down that path, because real estate can be very scary. It's 100% commission based for the most part, and you're not being paid. I have a wife, 2 kids, and mortgage to pay. And so, it's sink or swim, and there was no such thing as sink. You had to swim, so you had to figure it out. So again, back to what I had said, the biggest obstacle still is you. You're the one stopping yourself from your own success. So if you set your goals and set a plan, something even just as basic as 3 things that you are going to achieve in the next year, that kind of keeps you on track to getting there, because it gives you something to focus on, and you're able to drown out the rest of the, not the world per se, but kind of that information that can just so bog you down, and focus on the one thing that you really should be doing.
Right. Wow. I'm so happy that we're doing this, because some of the things that you're sharing, it's so nice to hear them from someone else, especially someone in another industry, because some of them I've heard before, some of them I haven't. So everything you're sharing has been really amazing, and it's helping me as well.
Awesome.
So if you had to do it again, would you do it all over again?
That's a great question. I probably would. I would say yes. I would say yes, because it has been wonderful. And the successes I have achieved have not been achieved on my own. It's a team effort all the way. I have wonderful agents in this office. When I took over this office I went into business with my operating principal, and we had 17 agents, and it was a failing business. And I came in, I took it over, and through the work of a lot of wonderful professionals whom we had hired and that trusted in what we were doing and the vision that we had set forth, we have 131 agents now in 3.5 years. And so we've been, an upward trajectory, which is awesome. And so I look back at a lot of this stuff and I think about the lives that have changed among, over that time, the amount of people that have been helped by this team of professionals who've done just a wonderful job at supporting what we're trying to do. And I say, that's awesome stuff. So would I do that again? Absolutely. Every day of the week and twice on Sunday, because that's why we do this. We do this because we can change lives. We really can. Not just the people whom we help buy, and sell real estate with and for, but the people who end up working here, the people who develop careers, who end up getting into an industry where they can achieve things they never thought they could achieve. They can live a life that they never thought they could live and provide it in a way that they never thought they could provide. And it's not all about money. It's just whether that means time, more time with your family, or it does mean more financial means for them, or whatever it means, you define it. It's not up to me. It's, the person whom you're working with. But we've seen so many of those successes. I mean, that's why we do what we do. So absolutely would I do it again? Yes.
Thank you so much for sharing that. You hit on a lot of key things, and a lot of it also aligns with the industry that I'm a part of, the time freedom. A lot of times people come in and they think it's all about the income. It's all about the money. Right. But the money just allows you to have more choices, right?
It's exactly right. The money allows you to fund the life that you want. And that's
right. It allows you to choose to spend more time with your kids, to choose to do the things that you want to do. So that's the bigger picture of it. And I love your passion for helping other people. And I know that the people who are working with you at Keller Williams are so lucky to have someone like you on their team.
You're very kind. Thank you.
So how has doing all of this, oh wait, I skipped one, hold on. If you had to do it again, would you do it differently?
Would I do it differently? That's a great question too. And I've often looked at that. I don't know if I could have done it differently. I think the reason why I am where I am is because of what I've gone through prior to, if you will. So I often wonder if I got into real estate at a younger age. I got in when I was 34. If I got in at a younger age, where would I be now? Would I be more successful? Would I be further down the line? I mean, hard to say, obviously, but I do wonder that sometimes. However, I don't know if I would have been as successful. I don't know if I would be able to help the people whom I'm able to help or any of those things, because I would not have developed the skill set in education and the passion for helping and wanting to educate and to teach if I hadn't gone through that already. So it's really kind of a hard thing to answer 100%, because I don't think this path would have gone this way if I hadn't gone through that already, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah, and those obstacles that you hit along the way, like the stuff you faced in education, helped you to get to where you are right now.
No question.
And you wouldn't be able to go back and share that passion and that story with people who are oncoming. Like Absolutely. If you didn't experience what you experienced in education, you wouldn't be able to say, hey, this is, what I was doing and it just wasn't working for me. And so I took this risk and now it's been this huge success. So I think I definitely agree with you on that. And I understand what you're saying. The obstacles you meet along the way are going to help you get and become the person that you're on your way to becoming. And if you don't experience some of those pitfalls, you're not going to be able to help others work through them.
Correct. And you are going to experience them. They're unavoidable. There's no way to miss them, so to speak. They're going to happen. And then it's how you deal with them and how you push forward and gain strength from them and learn from them. I mean, you're going to fail forward. I know it's cliche in business, but I tell my agents all the time, you're going to make mistakes. Learn from those mistakes. And you're going to make a bunch of them. That's okay. You're human. And it's, to errors to be human. That's all right. How you learn from them and how you change what you're doing and move forward to help, that's what matters.
I love that. I love how you put that. So how have you created more freedom in your life? Like from, we talked about being able to make more choices as an entrepreneur. How have you been able to do that in your own life?
The good part about real estate and the good part about what I do now is you're pretty much in control of your day. You're answering to, now I look at my role a little bit differently because, as being in the role I am, I'm accountable to a lot more people than I used to be. I have 130 agents, I have a staff, I have, people, then there's clients from my sales team, then there's the personal life and those people with whom you are accountable to. So my role has changed in that sense, where my freedom of time has a little bit decreased than what it used to be. But when I was directly in sales, you control your day, and you can then set your day up the way you see fit. And I still can do that now, but the accountability is different. I wasn't getting phone calls from my agents who needed things and this and that. And I welcome that. I love it. That's why I do what I do. But the beautiful part about entrepreneurship is you can really set your day the way you want to set it, and you get to prioritize what you feel is most important. And that is a huge departure for most people. When I have people come in here to start in this industry and they want this job, and I tell them, listen, this is different. You do have a job. Your job is what you do every day, but this is a career, and you need to look at it that way. And you need to understand that you don't have a manager over your shoulder saying, hey, where are you? It's time to get to work. You don't have someone telling you, okay, you get your hour or half hour lunch break today. You get to schedule that. But with that great power comes great responsibility. So we teach our agents, and what I had to learn myself was how to time block my day and time block it really, really well. I'm so time blocked now, Jack, that if I get outside my time block, I get a little crazy, because I know that there's things I'm supposed to already have done that I haven't done yet and I've missed. And that can be, that to me is when I don't sit well and I get paranoid that something's going to go awry. So we teach our agents to do that. And I had to learn that myself, but that is how you create more freedom in your day, because you prioritize what's most important. You work, the 80-20 principle is hugely important in business, especially in real estate. And you want to focus on, spend 80% of your time on the 20% of the activities that are going to give you the greatest gain. And again, it's not all about money. I don't just mean financial gain, but whatever you determine is most important gain. And like we had talked about, time with the family, time with yourself, having time alone, having time to pursue other passions and hobbies. That's what creates you, makes you well-rounded. And then you can give that to others and be of interest to them and be of value to them. So that's kind of, truthfully, I think that's what you need to do.
It's crazy that you're talking about time blocking, because I do the same thing. And, one thing comes in that can not mess up your whole day, but it's just another challenge for you to work through to make sure you get all the things that you need to done throughout the day. So that's
absolutely.
So I only have 2 more questions for you. And I really, really do appreciate you taking the time. I know that you're super busy. I know that you have so many agents who are counting on you, and that you're an amazing leader. So I really can't even tell you how much I appreciate you doing this with me today.
Oh, like I said, I was honored to be asked. It's my pleasure. Thank you so much.
So if you could go back in time and give yourself one piece of advice you wish you had to help you along the way, what would you tell your younger self?
I would say to myself, don't be afraid to go after it. And just don't be afraid to go after it. Get what you want to get, because life it doesn't owe you anything. It's not going to hand you anything. And if you want it, go get it. I grew up at a time when, as I alluded to before, we were told by everybody, go to school, listen, learn, go to high school, get your diploma, go on to college, go to higher education if you need to, get a job, go work for someone, get your pension, get your couple paid vacation weeks, be happy. That is the American dream. Don't expect any more. That was drilled into our head over and over again. Something happened along the way. As soon as we all got out of college and looked around, jobs weren't as prevalent. And, oh, by the way, you don't have a pension. No, those are gone, because companies no longer offer them, or they needed to take that money for other avenues in their company. So the pensions went away. So now we're left with, okay, what do I do now? Well, I can tell you what you do now is you got to go get it yourself, and you have to put money away, and you have to worry about you, because you're going to have people in your life who are going to worry about you. You're going to have friends and family. I understand that. But at the end of the day, it's you, and it's going to be up to you to make it or to not. And you don't want to be on the wrong side of that fence. So you got to make sure you make it, and have the energy, have the passion, have the confidence in yourself to say, I can absolutely do this. I'm not letting anything stop me, and I'm going to make it. I'm going to be a success. It's kind of my big why. When I got into real estate, I left a pretty secured job and education. And my big why was I had to be a success, not even to myself, but to my 2 kids. I could not be a failure to them. I never wanted them to look and say, geez, my dad couldn't make it, couldn't hack it. He wasn't able to get it done. Because what kind of example is that to them? And again, success is defined by the individual. It doesn't matter if it's money or if it doesn't matter. However you define success. I had to be a success in their eyes. And that fear It's a little bit of a healthy paranoia is what drives me every day, and I live with it every day. When I don't want to make a phone call, or I don't want to do what I have to do, or there's something I'm supposed to do that I kind of, I'm not going to do it. I'll do it maybe next week or never. Then I think of that, and I say, I got to do it. So looking back on it in that sense, I absolutely would tell people, don't be afraid to go after it, because no one else is going to if you don't.
That's beautiful. I love that. That's something that drives me as well as my little girl. And, you know,
Awesome.
you never know what's going to happen tomorrow. You know, you never know what's going to happen tomorrow. So you have to be prepared, you know? Thank you so much for sharing that.
You're
So I
welcome.
have one more question. And I think that this is probably going to be the one that helps the most number of people who either come back and watch that or are watching live right now. But what's one thing that you would like to share with someone who may be watching, who might be where you were at when you were teaching, who's maybe feeling a little bit unfulfilled, who's maybe feeling a little bit unhappy and wish that they were in a different place in life? Like, what's one thing that you think you could share today that might help them with that?
I can tell you, when I was debating what I was going to do in my career, I remember vividly watching the clock tick from about 3:30 to 5, watching the sun kind of creep up over the horizon, and actually shaking, being physically ill because I didn't want to go to work anymore. That's how much I was not enjoying my role. It was that much of a problem. That is no way to live. No way to live. So the best piece of advice I could give somebody is, if you find yourself in a position like that where you're that unhappy and you need to make a change, have the confidence and the faith in yourself to do it. Because living like that for the next 30 years, that's not living. Go after it, like I had said before, and don't be afraid to do it, and have confidence in yourself. Too many people lack that, and for a variety of reasons, and it's not my place to judge why, but too many people lack that. You must believe in yourself first, because otherwise no one else is going to. So don't be afraid to go get it and make that change if you truly need to make it. That's about the best thing I can tell you. Take that risk, because it can pay off big time.
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing it. You know, I knew when I asked you to do this interview, I knew it was going to be really, really good, because I've gotten to know you a little bit, but I didn't realize that it was going to be this amazing. So I really didn't. You have so inspired me. I know you've inspired people who are watching and who will watch the replay of this. So thanks so much. You know, I know I've said this before. Thanks so much for taking the time to be here, but you really are very inspiring. You're doing amazing things. You guys, he's a realtor in Boston for Keller Williams. So if you're looking for a home, he would be a great person to talk to about it. He has an amazing team. You know, I know you can tell from this interview. So thanks so much again for being here, Chris. Is there anything else that you want to add or share before we go?
I just thank you for having me. I equally feel the same way about you. It's amazing to watch you grow in your profession, and the fact that you're taking the time to interview folks and to come from contribution, provide value to others, truly is inspiring to me as well. So please keep this up. This is awesome stuff. It's going to provide value to many, many people out there, and that's because of you and your efforts. So thank you as well.
Thank you so much. And, you know, if you ever come across someone that you think would, you know, be insightful for me or for anyone else, just let me know and we can set up another interview with them. And I'd love to, you know, not super soon, but, you know, down the road, I'd love to do this again with you when you're at another place. I think that would be a lot of fun. Oh, are you there? I think we might have lost him. Chris, are you there?
Can you see me?
Yeah, now I can see you.
Okay, I'm
Did
here.
you hear what I said?
I am here. Can you?
Yeah, it's breaking up. That's okay. It's the end, so it's a perfect place for this to happen. Can you hear me? Well, we'll touch base after later on down the road. But thanks again so much, and I hope you have an amazing week, you guys. I hope you got some value out of this. I hope it helped you with some things. Have an amazing weekend, and I hope that your next week is beautiful.
I heard you, yes, and absolutely.
There you are.
I saw that.
Hey.
Okay, we're back. So can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, now I can. Yeah, so if you know any, if you come across anybody you think would be great for this, just let me know and we'll be sure to have them on. Okay?
Absolutely will. Absolutely. Thank you,
All
Jack.
right. Thanks so much. Have a great weekend, you guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Chris.
Bye, Jackie. Thank you.